Welcome once again to this month's edition of AARP Massachusetts Fraud Talk Tuesdays. We are here the second Tuesday of each month from 12 to 12:30, where we discuss a different scam and how to protect yourself and your family from being victimized. My name is Les Holmes. I'm a volunteer with AARP Massachusetts, and our guest today is Dennis, who is also a volunteer with AARP Massachusetts Speakers Bureau. Now, have you ever heard the Capital One advertisement that says, "What's in your wallet?" Well, today we're going to talk about why scammers want your driver's license, what you shouldn't keep in your wallet, and what to do if you lose it. You may have joined us today with questions already in mind. If you have, please put them into the Q&A at the bottom of the screen. Or if you have questions come up during the presentation, put them into the Q&A as well. Now, this session is being recorded, and you'll receive a copy of the recording to share with your family and friends. At the end of the presentation, we'll share a page with links to a number of resources. To receive a copy of that, you'll receive a copy of that too. So, other than having a bad picture on your license, what might scammers want for your license?
Well, Les, thanks. Let me start with a story. Soon after, a woman named Amy Gray, 47-year-old public school teacher in Akron, Ohio, had her purse stolen from her workplace, which was an employment skills program for students housed in a mall. She received a bank alert that someone was using her credit and debit cards. She quickly canceled the cards and ordered a replacement. She also ordered a new driver's license and received a duplicate of the one that had been stolen, and it included the same ID number on it. Though it didn't worry her at the time, that turned out to be the worst problem. She discovered that she discovered this a few months later when she received a letter from the Ohio Bureau of Motor Vehicles informing her that her license had been suspended due to outstanding arrest warrants in her name. The police later told her a shoplifter had been caught at a local store and had shown them Gray's license as identification. You know, even though the person didn't really look like Gray in the picture, she says, they gave my license back to this person and let them go on their merry way. And because the police didn't believe her, she was forced to contest the charges in court. Luckily, her attorney was able to get her dismissed thanks to the store surveillance video showing that this thief was older and had a different build and hairstyle than she did. However, it cost her $2,500 in legal fees to clear her name.
Well, Dennis, that's certainly an unsettling story. For most of us, a driver's license is the go-to form of identification, the proof that we're asked for to present when we cash a check, show up in an airport to board a flight, or check in at a hotel, even at your doctor's office. How else could scammers use someone's driver's license?
Well, just think about everything you do using your driver's license to prove that you are who you are. And with your license, a thief can do exactly the same thing. And having your picture on the license can prove to be surprisingly little protection, even if the person who wants to use it even remotely resembles you. Some scammers steal people's actual licenses, while others convince their targets to upload scanned copies of their license to the internet as part of, say, an application for a fake government loan, job application, or a grant. And what has become a disturbing trend, with the data breaches on the rise, still others hack into computer systems of government motor vehicle agencies and businesses that use licenses to identify customers and steal their data. The Federal Trade Commission says that there's a market out there for driver's licenses. They say that identity thefts by driver's license or the data on the dark web and combine the information with other types of stolen data to create what they call a synthetic identity, to say apply for credit cards, loans, and like I said, government benefits. They can also use the data to create fake physical licenses that impressively mimic the real ones.
So, based on the story you told at the beginning, I guess one obvious way to steal someone's license, to steal someone's wallet or purse. How else would they steal them?
You're right. Thieves just don't steal purses and wallets to get people's driver's licenses. When a new license didn't arrive in the mail, here's another story, didn't arrive in the mail for a Houston woman, it initially assumed that her state's Department of Motor Vehicles was backed up. She didn't realize that the scammer had apparently grabbed the license out of her home mailbox. But she eventually found out that something was wrong when she got a notice in the mail about a toll violation involving a car with a license plate that she did not recognize. She said that the scammer with her license bought a BMW and obtained insurance in her name. The person also rented a U-Haul truck and didn't return it, resulting in a $753 bill. And when she tried to sign up for an Uber Eats driver to make some extra money, she discovered that someone was already driving for the company under her name. You know, the criminal even used her identity to rent an apartment and sign up for utilities. To protect your mail, something you might consider is signing up for the United States Postal Service service called Informed Delivery. It's something I did about 3 years ago. And what happens, it's a free service from the United States Postal Service that shows you a preview of images of incoming mail. You can see the notifications in a morning daily digest on email or at any time via a dashboard on your phone, computer, or the USPS mobile app. The scammers also can get driver's license information by posing as employers and getting targets to fill out online job applications that ask for a number, as well as other personal data. In fact, we have a fraud volunteer in Massachusetts, Alice, who has done a number of presentations specifically on job search and job employment scams. Scammers also pose as officials from banks or motor vehicle agencies and request information. In recent years, an even more efficient method of stealing driver's license information has emerged. Hackers break into companies or government computer systems and steal vast numbers of licenses in one fell swoop. These hackers are looking for a way that they can get the most bang for the buck, most information with the least amount of work.
So, Dennis, what can we do to protect yourself?
Privacy and anti-fraud experts recommend several measures to guard against driver's license scams. Some of them suggest that you look at, well, some of the suggestions that we're going to talk about come from an organization called Identity Theft Resource Center. It's a nonprofit organization that works to combat crimes and assist victims and the credit bureau, Experian. We're going to have a link in the resource slide at the end to the Identity Theft Resource Center, so you can check them out. So here's some of the things you should do. First, show your license, but don't take it out of your wallet. Experts suggest that using a wallet that has one of those clear windows in it, a pouch with a clear window, so that you can flash it quickly, say at a wine bar or somewhere else where they want to verify your age and identity. If you have to take it out of the wallet, do not let it out of your sight. Next, don't give out your driver's license number to someone who calls out of the blue. If you did not initiate the contact, don't give out your information, any personal information. 3, if someone does manage to steal your driver's license or information, you need to report it. It is critical to immediately report the theft to begin a paper trail showing that somebody has stolen your documents. If your license is used in a crime, you'll want to get a report on that incident. Experts also suggest filing a report with the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC. And again, there will be a link in the in the resource slide how to contact the FTC. And having ample evidence of identity theft make it easier to convince states and motor vehicle officials to issue a new license with a new number. You can also get assistance on what to do by calling the AARP Fraud Watch helpline at 1-877-908-3360, and that number will be also on the resource slide.
Those are great tips, Dennis. What else can we do?
If you've had your information stolen, say in a data breach, go to your state's website and follow the instructions on how to proceed and protect yourself. Usually the great place is the Attorney General's office. Most states have that information available. They'll give you step-by-step list of things to do. And while we're talking about license and photo IDs, let me mention real IDs. Many of us, when renewing our license, have opted to upgrade our license to or ID to a real ID. The real ID has a special security feature and an RFID chip, which stands for radio frequency ID. These things make it incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to duplicate or to tamper with an ID. Getting one of these IDs requires providing 4 types of identification. This can include your current driver's license, your social security card, which cannot be laminated, your birth certificate, court records, utility bills to show proof of residence. You must show proof of any name changes if your name is not the same that is on your birth certificate. And the document requirement will also make it more difficult. All these having at least 4 ways of 4 kinds of documents to produce will make it difficult for anyone to get a real ID unlawfully. So if you haven't upgraded your ID yet, you might consider doing that. The Department of Homeland Security has extended the real ID for full enforcement from May 3rd, 2023 because of the pandemic to May 7th of 2025. So that's about a year from now.
That's great information. Now, I had mentioned that you would talk about the 10 worst things to carry in your wallet. What are they, and why shouldn't we carry these items?
Well, thieves could take more than just your cash out of your wallet. They could profit from all of your stolen information. Amy Knopfsinger, who oversees the AARP Fraud Watch Network helpline, says that we all think that we are being careful, but it simply takes a second for a criminal to steal our wallet or a purse. You can make your wallet leaner, and to cyber criminals, meaner. They don't want they like wallets with lots of stuff. Has anyone ever seen the Seinfeld episode with George carrying his wallet that's about 8 inches thick with everything in the world in it? Many of the informational items that we once carried can be accessed on our smartphones, including digital wallets that contain digital versions of our credit cards and our debit cards. Things like Apple, Samsung, Google all offer mobile payment services. So here's some things that you could do. First of all, take everything out of your wallet and sort it out. You might be surprised at what you find in there. You have to have an eye with paring things down way back. Remove all old receipts, shopping lists, business cards, single store credit cards that you rarely use, and so on. And if it's not something that you need often or in an emergency, keep it at home. And while you're at home, create a safe and secure place to store this information that you don't need to keep in your wallet all the time. You can put extra cash there. You can grab, and then you can have all these things that you don't use that you can grab easily when you happen to need them, and then return them after your errand's done. Consumer advocates advise making photocopies of or using your smartphone to take pictures of the front and the back of all of your cards, so that in case they get lost, you have the information available to contact whoever issued the card so that you can cancel the cards. So here are 10 things you should remove from your wallet and store safely in a place at home, depending on how often you use them. Again, everyone's circumstances are going to vary. First of all, your social security card. There is absolutely no reason that you need to carry your social security card, especially for daily use. And if a criminal gets a hold of your credit card, they can open up credit in your name and capture your identity. So you should never carry your social security card with you. Number 2, multiple credit cards and credit card receipts. What you should do is choose one credit card and one debit card you wish to use most of the time and leave the others at home. Multiple credit cards are a gold mine for criminals. If they get a hold of them, they can start charging things online before you even get a chance to cancel them, or they can send runners to different stores to make purchases. It's becoming rarer and rarer, people are using checks. So you should not carry your checkbook with you, or even a blank check. These days, when you might need one for a purchase, those days are mostly in the past that we use checks for purchasing things when we're out and about. Think of a check. It has your name, your address, your account number, your bank routing number. And with that information, they could log on to your account and steal your money or ruin your credit. Or they could actually use some of the technology out there to create fake checks with your bank and routing number on it. Your work ID is number 4. When my working days, I would have an ID that they gave us, a lanyard that we would wear around the neck. We did not carry it in our wallets, or sometimes they have these lanyards that you can clip to your belt. So we use these badges to access our workplace, and these cards contain a chip or a magnetic strip or a barcode that stores information about you. You don't want that out and about and somebody else to capture it. Number 5, your passport or your passport card. When you're in the United States, you do not need to carry it with you. If it's stolen, again, they can use it to steal your identity. And when you're abroad, traveling out of the country, make a copy of it and keep that copy with you and put the original in the hotel safe. This is a scary one. There are people that do this. They keep a list of all their passwords in their wallet. Passwords can be used to log on to all your accounts and your websites and steal your money. Number 7, your birth certificate. Scammers could use this to get a copy of your social security card or your passport or your driver's license. The number 8 is sort of innocuous. Your library card. It sounds benign, but crooks can if they get a hold of that, they can go and check out lots of books at the library and then sell them for a few bucks. And number 9 is your house key. I remember when I was in my 20s, I used to keep one and a car key in there just in case. You shouldn't carry that in your wallet. Thieves could find, if they steal your wallet and there's a key in there, they have probably your address because it's on one of your documents there. And that's an invitation to come to your house and steal.
All right, well, that's 9 things, Dennis. What is number 10 on the list? I've heard that you shouldn't carry Medicare cards with you. Is that number 10 on your list?
It sure is. Your Medicare card is number 10 on the list. And here's some advice for Medicare beneficiaries. To protect your identity, your Medicare card no longer has your social security number, but it has your Medicare number, which is a unique 11-character alphanumeric ID. You should closely guard that ID and never share it with anyone who contacts you out of the blue, either by phone, by email, by text, or in person, saying that you're going to lose your benefits. We had a problem with your Medicare account. That's not how Medicare works. If you should carry, when should you carry your card? Well, you should carry it when you go to, when you're heading off to a doctor's appointment that might require it. I have all my medical care done through Steward Health. And when I go to any Steward Health physician, they already have all my information because they're part of that Steward network. But you should only carry it when you're going to a doctor's appointment. And people say, well, what if I don't have it? You can call and give it to them later. They're not going to deny you treatment. Same thing if you go to an emergency room. They're not going to deny you treatment. They're going to have to treat you, and you can call the number in. In the wrong hands, your Medicare number can be used for a variety of scams, including filing for false claims and for reimbursement. It may require that you then pay a copay or deductible for something you didn't receive. Anything billed under your Medicare number becomes part of your electronic health care record. And if someone, and you don't want anybody else's information or situation part of your health record. If someone calls and asks you for information or for money or threatens you to cancel your Medicare benefits, if you don't provide that number for them, report it immediately to 1-800-Medicare, 1-800-633-4227, but it's easier to remember 1-800-Medicare. And if your Medicare card has been compromised, you can always request a new Medicare card with a new number. And if you think it's been compromised, I would really encourage you to do that. Here's another important point. Research has shown that statistically, seniors are less likely to take counter fraud measures, things like enabling two-factor authentication or putting in place alerts with their financial institutions. So when it comes to carrying identifiable data in your wallet, less is significantly more and much safer.
All right. Thanks, Dennis, for the valuable information. Information, awareness, and education is our best defense to avoid scams. All right, now let's check for questions. Okay, we have a question from Phil. Will Mass RMV issue a new license with a new ID?
I would say yes. If you can, especially if you prove to them that your original license has been compromised. That's why it's important to report and get documentation. But I would call the Mass RMV and tell them why you need a new license with a new number.
Okay, we also have a question from Joanne. Calling from Maine, state of Maine, had a data breach in February 24. The public was not informed. Last month, Experian AT&T alerted me that my Maine driver's license, cell phone numbers, and Gmail address were now in the dark web. I could pay Experian $28 a month to search for and delete 50 files in the dark web. AT&T has a similar process. What do you think of these options, Dennis?
Well, I know that I received a message once from a healthcare provider saying that they had been breached and that I could get a free year of credit monitoring. And so I went online and I filled out the form. And at that point, they asked me for my credit card. And so I called them directly and said, I thought this was free. Oh, yeah, but you have to pay after the first year, and we need that information right up front. So I did nothing. The thing to remember about data breaches, when they steal this information, people are pretty alert for at least a short time to keep track of what's happening with their credit. This data that's been stolen, it's actually warehoused on the dark web for 4 or 5 years, and then it is sold off. By that time, people have forgotten that they have been breached, that their information has been stolen, and are not paying attention. So it shouldn't cost you anything. I would just be keep a track of your credit on a regular basis. You might also want to freeze your credit, or at least set up a credit alert with the credit bureaus. And AARP has information on the Fraud Watch Network that will help you, that will lead you through that.
Excellent, thank you. We also have a question from A9AF0. Will we receive a recording if we missed a few things at the start of this? Good stuff.
You definitely will, and you're going to get a copy of the resource list that we're going to show at the end. And we encourage you to share this recording with other folks. We talked about, showing your license at, say, a wine bar or something. You probably have kids or grandkids who are young enough that probably still have to show IDs. Share this information with them.
Excellent. I think we have time for one more question or so. This is from Krista. If you are in an accident, wouldn't you need a Medicare card with you?
No. There's legislation on the books. If they take you to the hospital, they have to treat you. And in fact, most hospitals or large facilities, they have access to a number of databases. If you were to give them your Social Security number, they could look up your new Medicare number. Mm-hmm. So no, don't worry about being in an accident. That's not, when they take you away to the hospital, that is not their primary concern. Their concern is to make sure that you're safe and that you're taken care of.
All right. We have time for one more quick question. This is from Bill. Also, not carry supplemental cards, e.g. drug cards, etc., in your wallet.
Okay, well, there's one that says miss number 7. Please repeat. The number 7 was birth certificates. You shouldn't carry that in your wallet at all. Mm-hmm. Also, not carry your supplemental. Yeah, I wouldn't carry your supplemental or your drug cards either. Don't forget, if you're on Medicare, your supplement only comes into effect after Medicare pays. If it's not covered by Medicare, it's probably not covered by your supplement. But I wouldn't carry your Medicare cards with you. The only time you need them is when you go to the doctor.
Excellent. And now, just in closing, because we have 1 minute left, and at next month's Fraud Talk, Tuesday on June 11th, we are fortunate to have with us Lilia Dubois, Massachusetts Assistant Attorney General, who will discuss cryptocurrency. Crypto is moving to the top of the list of scammers' favorite way to get paid. She'll discuss with members of her staff what you should know about cryptocurrency to keep you and your loved ones safe from being victimized. Thanks for joining us today.
Okay, let's do quickly a look at the resource slide. You're going to get a copy of this, and all of these are. Oops, let me go to slideshow so I can show this bigger. And here, so we're going to send you this resource slide, and these blue text is our link, so you can click on the link, and it'll bring you right to that. So if your driver's license has been stolen, contact the state motor vehicle office. And there's a link to the that you can work through there. Get online assistance, and here's the Identity Theft Resource Center, or you should call them. Report identity theft to the Federal Trade Commission, and the Identity Theft website. And let me get this up out of the way so I can see this. Whoops, there we go. The AARP Fraud Watch Helpline. These people are a great resource if you have any question about any fraud, not just driver's licenses. And here's a link that you can sign up for the USPS Informed Delivery. So as Les said, thank you for joining us. And we hope to see you next month for our event on cryptocurrency.